Breast surgical oncologist and chief of breast surgery at New York Presbyterian Brooklyn, Dr. Vivian Jolley-B joins me now for more on this. Dr. B, thank you so much for being here. You know, according to the American Cancer Society, black women are 41% more likely to die from breast cancer than white women, despite being less likely to be diagnosed. Why is that?
Yeah, so first of all, that number should absolutely make us all angry and stop us in our tracks. The cause for breast disparities, as my colleague Lisa Newman mentioned, are multifactorial. They're due to many different issues, and we really have to take a moment to put all of those issues, or as I call it, pieces of the puzzle together to make a difference. We know that for women, Black women, we are twice as likely to be diagnosed with triple-negative breast cancer, which does portend a worse prognosis. We also know that triple-negative breast cancer has less treatment opportunities. Black women are underrepresented in clinical trials, and because of that, we don't have drugs that necessarily treat our tumor biology, so that contributes to the disparity. We also know that disparities are contributed from screening to diagnosis and diagnosis to treatment. We need screening, we need mammograms, early mammograms, quality mammograms, that means those 3D mammograms, and we need to learn how to advocate for ourselves.
And I noticed you said quality mammograms, those 3D mammograms. Sometimes that first round is not enough, depending on things like if you have dense breast tissue, for example. I know from experience. But insurance companies don't always cover those extra imagings, the kind of 3D images that you're describing. How do you get over that?
Having a physician advocate on your side is absolutely essential. But first, we have to educate all women that you have a right to a 3D mammogram. We know based on studies that 3D mammograms offer better quality. They're able to pick up tumors at their more earlier stages. We mentioned breast density, and New York is a state where breast density has to be reported. Not all states do that. But with the reporting, we have to understand what that means. About 50% of all women have dense breast, and that means that you need to have an ultrasound as well as the mammogram, and the two combined actually increase the sensitivity of that study. And so again, advocating for yourself, but also having physician leaders and providers that advocate on your behalf to these insurance companies are also essential.
This disease accounts for about 30% of all new cancers for women. Do you think that there's more that can be done to fight it?
You know, breast cancer has made great leaps and strides over the last couple of decades with research and clinical trials. I mean, we have really made great advancements. But to answer your question, yes, there is more that we can do. There are colleagues of mine who are really doing the work as we work together to sort of bridge that gap. And what do I mean by doing the work? We're doing, research that is representative, that has all sort of race and ethnicities and ages represented. We need to have that representation so that when these treatment recommendations come, they're really representing the diverse communities that represent the United States. And so, yes, there's more that can be done. Advocacy, having these conversations, and educating patients on what to expect and what to ask.
And Dr. B, how do you ensure that, at least in the future, that more research is done with more accurate representations of the communities being affected by this?
You have to start from the ground level. You know, at our institution, we recognized that we could do better with clinical trial accrual. And part of that came from the top down in putting representation. You know, our clinical trials team, I'm a physician of color, right? It matters. Representation matters. Having, nurses and staff members that look like the patients and populations that we serve. There's absolutely a medical mistrust that we cannot ignore. And part of that, dealing with that mistrust, is educating patients of the importance of being represented in these clinical trials so that those treatment algorithms represent them and can treat them in the future. But we also have to be trustworthy, and that trustworthiness comes from feeling comfortable with the physicians that are taking care of these patients and having representation.
All right, Dr. Vivian Jolley-B, we appreciate your time today. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. George Stephanopoulos here. Thanks for checking out the ABC News YouTube channel. If you'd like to get more videos, show highlights, and watch live event coverage, click on the right over here to subscribe to our channel. And don't forget to download the ABC News app for breaking news alerts. Thanks for watching.